15 people killed by floods and landslides in China. Continuous heavy rains have caused floods and landslides in the Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region in southern China, southwestern Yunnan province and eastern Fujian province. At least 15 people were killed, including 8, after landslides struck 2 buildings in Fujian province. 5 people died, 3 were missing in Yunnan, and 2 died after being washed away by floodwaters in Guangxi. According to the preliminary official data, about 7,280 hectares of crops have been damaged, at least 150 buildings as well as 130 bridges and roads in Qibei County, Yunnan province have been destroyed. Communications and power supplies were severely damaged. Heavy rains in Wuping County, Fujian province, caused national highways, provincial roads and 2 houses to collapse, killing 8 people. More than 220 millimeters of rain fell in Shifang, Wuping County, far exceeding the previous record. The maximum recorded daily rainfall in Yunnan reached 150 millimeters. Up to 40,000 hectares of crops and potential crops were partially or completely destroyed as a result of heavy hail that struck the southern and southeastern parts of Bulgaria. According to preliminary data, the greatest damage to agriculture occurred in the districts of Madan, Rodopi and Tvarditsa, as well as in the Burgas and Kardzhali regions. Chunks of ice broke through the roofs of buildings and damaged vehicles in some settlements. There were no dead or injured among the people. As noted in the statement of the Department of Emergency Situations, the losses incurred by these areas run into hundreds of thousands of dollars. The Bulgarian government is considering the possibility of providing financial compensation to the victims. The water tornado turned into a weak tornado and immediately dissipated after coming ashore at a seaside resort in Fort Myers, Florida. However, the tornado caused minor injuries and destruction. The incident occurred during a storm and bad weather in the southeastern United States last weekend. The water tornado reportedly landed as an EF0 tornado on the Fujita extended scale, a measurement used to determine the intensity and strength of a tornado. The EF0 level is the lowest of the 5 levels of the EF scale. That water tornadoes are weaker than tornadoes. Nevertheless, watching and avoiding local weather warnings is still necessary because they can still cause life-threatening and destructive winds. A water tornado is a funnel-shaped vortex of air and water that forms over the surface of a large body of water and is connected to a cumulus cloud. It is similar in nature to an ordinary tornado. A water tornado can be formed when an ordinary tornado passes over the water surface. It occurs more often in tropical latitudes. Although water tornadoes are mostly born in tropical latitudes, they can also appear in temperate latitudes. They can often be seen on the west coast of Europe, in the British Isles, and in some areas of the Mediterranean. The number of victims of the flood in Brazil has risen to 56. Dozens are believed to be missing. The military is involved in searching for and assisting the wounded. Almost 4,000 people have been left homeless. Authorities warn weather conditions could worsen. The country's president Jair Bolsonaro expressed his condolences to the families of the victims. The most affected cities have been allocated humanitarian aid of €500,000. This is the 4th largest flooding in Brazil since the beginning of the year. It was triggered by prolonged rainfall. Hurricane Agatha is currently raging over the eastern Pacific and poses a major threat to tourist beaches and fishing towns along Mexico's Pacific coast. In the past 24 hours, Agatha has gained momentum and has rapidly evolved from a tropical storm into a hurricane. The USA National Hurricane Center issued a statement that Agatha is expected to make landfall as a Category 3 hurricane in the Central American country on the afternoon or evening of Monday, May 30th. The Hurricane Agency is also warning that Agatha could cause storm surges in coastal areas. A recent weather forecast suggested that Agatha could hit not only Mexico, but also Florida and the USA Gulf Coast this week. In recent years, several hurricanes have wreaked havoc on the Atlantic and Gulf coasts of the United States. Mexico and nearby countries have also been caught up in the destruction of these storms. In the coming months, hurricanes or unnamed storms following Agatha are likely to bring high winds and torrential rain with flooding. The emergence of Hurricane Agatha confirms previous predictions by meteorologists that hurricane season will begin earlier than expected this year. Hurricane season in the USA runs from about June 1 through November 30 each year. According to the weather forecast, Hurricane Agatha will impact southern Mexico through Friday, June 3. This coastal threat is possible because of Agatha's maximum sustained wind speed of 175 km per hour as of May 30. Also during this period, the hurricane was seen about 225 km southwest of Puerto Angel and moving in a northeasterly direction. Intense meteor shower with the passage of several thousand meteors per hour expects the inhabitants of the Earth on May 31. According to experts, the duration of increased meteor activity will be about 2 hours. According to the calculations, the peak of activity will fall at 6:30 when it is already dawn on our longitudes, so it will be difficult to notice it. The stream will be best seen in the western hemisphere of the Earth, in North America. The Tau Herculidae meteor shower is interesting because it was predicted after the discovery of the parent comet SW3, discovered on May 2, 1930. The comet's orbital period is 8 years. The flux would have been classified as weakly active and uninteresting had it not been for the collapse of comet SW3 in 1995. In December, observations showed that the comet's nucleus had disintegrated into at least 4 large fragments. By 2006, during the next passage of the comet through perihelion, it was possible to fix more than 65 fragments of the comet. An analysis of the trajectory of these fragments, as well as a general simulation of the behavior of the cloud of debris, taking into account the disturbance, especially the influence of Jupiter, allowed the researchers in 2005 to predict the outburst of meteor shower activity in 2022 and 2049. Specialists assured that the Moon will not interfere with the observations, as the new Moon occurs on May 30. In addition to the main debris field, 2 more plumes of debris from comet SW3 will cross the Earth's orbit. These phenomena will occur a few hours earlier and later than the main events. Therefore, according to the expert, we have a chance to see the meteor storm on the night of May 30 to 31.